In this demo, let us see how we can create a structural profile and explain the meaning of the fields in a structural profile. Now, employees in manager positions in your company require structural authorization profiles to enable them to access selected HR data of the employees within their span of control. So you use structural authorizations or structural profiles to give access to the managers only to the data of the employees reporting to them. So the employees who report to a manager is the span of control of the manager. So the transaction code for creating the structure profile is OOSP. So let's execute that, and you'll see a list of structural profiles that are already created in your system or in your plant. Let us create one, and while creating the structure profile, let us go and explain the significance or the meaning of each of those fields in the structure profile. So to create a structure profile, you have to be in the change mode, and once you're in the change mode, you get the new entries button on the toolbar. So click on new entries. The system will ask you to enter a structural profile name and the description for the profile. So let's enter ZHR manager, and let's give a description. There is a limitation for this. So let's say manager profile, and hit the enter key. And once you have given the structure profile name and the description for the profile, click on save. The system will ask you to create a change request number. Click on create and give a brief description for the transport request. Click on continue. Now, to create a structure profile, select the structure profile and double click on the authorization profile maintenance folder. So you get to a screen where you can specify or maintain the information related to the structure profile. So click on new entries to maintain or to create the structure profile. In the first column for authorization profile field, enter the structure profile that we created. Give a sequence number. Plan version. Now you use this plan version field to determine the plan version to which the defined profile applies. So here we specify the plan version 01. You specify the plan version that is applicable for this profile. So let's put 01 here as a practice. Now, if you use a system that integrates the personal administration and the organizational structure components, the plan version 01 is generally the integrated plan version. So we generally use 01 as a standard value in the plan version field. In the object type field, you can specify only the objects that have an 8-character key. Any object that is part of your org structure, such as org unit or position or job, you can specify those as object type in this field. So if you want to specify org unit, you may enter O there. If you want to specify object type as position, you enter S there. And if you want to specify job as a object type, you enter C there. Now you cannot enter object types which are external to org structures, such as cost centers, and cost centers are may not be of 8-character key. So in general, structural authorizations checks are not carried out for these external objects, such as cost centers. So let's enter O, because that's one of the objects in the org structure and is of 8-character key. Now in the object ID field, you enter the number of the start object if you are using the evaluation path. So in case if you are using evaluation path, you have to enter the starting object ID here. So we created an evaluation path with the Z manager. So let's go and pick it up. So we have created this, so let's pick that up. And you can specify an object key here. So let's open up another session and pick up a object key that we have been using. So let's take this. Okay. Or okay, let's take this one, 412492. Okay, so let's take that 500124992. So 500124992. So we have put we had it then take it, that's why it scrolled down. Anyways, so in the object ID field, you enter the 8-character ID of the object type. So this becomes, so whatever ID you enter here, that will become the start object for this evaluation path. Now you can use the processing mode, this field, to control whether a read authorization or authorizations for the relevant set of objects should be maintained or assigned. So this field corresponds to the main field in the table T77FC. So all the function codes that have this checkbox in this field can be processed. And by entering the evaluation path or specific evaluation path, you determine that the user is only authorized to access the objects along this evaluation path. So which means, let's go and open up another session and take a look at what those objects are within the table evaluation path. So the transaction code for evaluation path is OOAW. So let's go and look for ZHR manager and check what are the objects within that evaluation path. So the objects within that evaluation path is O, org unit, S, and P. So this evaluation path, Z manager, is going to give access to these object types, positions, org units, and persons that are within this org unit. Now, when you use the evaluation path, you must also assign a root object for the structure when you use this evaluation path. So this root object can either be entered directly, like what we are doing now, in this field, the object ID field, with the object type, or this the object ID can be determined dynamically by a suitable function module. So in which case, if you use the function module, you don't need to specify the object ID key here. You only have to specify the object type. So depending on the object ID of the manager, the function module will pick that ID dynamically at runtime. Thus, we'll come to status vector in a minute and the depth in a minute. The sign field, if you want to create a structure profile that processes the structure bottom up, then you can make use of the sign field. By default, when we entered the object ID and press the enter key, the system automatically populated the status vector field with 1, 2. Now, the status vector field determines which relationships are considered when the structure is created. So let's say if you define the status vector as 12, all the relationships that have active status or planned status are evaluated. So the value 1 stands for active and 2 stands for planned. You could have the values 3, 4 and 5 also if you want. So 3 would stand for submitted, 4 is for approved and 5 is for rejected. So depending on what relationships between the objects you want to evaluate, the structure profile to evaluate, you can enter the value here. So by default, the system takes 1 for active and relationship and 2 for planned relationships. So, but the choice of this status vector has no real effect on the status of the objects. So it only refers, the status vector simply refers to the status of the relationships, but it has no significance on the status of the objects. Now the depth field is important from a performance standpoint. It could be important from a performance standpoint because the value in the depth field determines the level of the objects the system or the user can access. So for example, what it means is that if for a particular, let's say we give us this starting node as this, let's assume the Nancy Grant logs into the system and the depth level that we specified here is 2. What it means is that Nancy Grant would have access to only to the 2 levels in the org structures. So if you specify 4, then Nancy Grant would have access to these levels, the 4 levels. So depending on how the performance is, if the performance is very slow and it only happens when the org structure is pretty big, and if you don't specify a value here, and then it's very possible that the topmost manager, so for example, let's say Nancy Grant, if let's say there is no value specified here, or if you specify the value 0 here, Nancy Grant would have access to all those org units, all the objects who are reporting to Nancy Grant. So Nancy Grant would have access to this position because she is holding that position. Then she has access to this org unit and all the objects within that org unit. Then she will also have access to all this org unit and all the objects within that org unit. So when Nancy Grant accesses the HR system, the structural authorizations will evaluate all these objects. And if this is a small structure comparatively, but if in case of bigger structures, the user may end up getting performance related problems. So to avoid that, one of the alternatives is to specify a depth level so that the user is restricted only to certain levels in the org structure. So if you specify 0 or no depth level, the corresponding tree is completely built and there is no limit on the depth of the tree. So this could be a significant field in your structural authorizations. So you might want to consider putting some value here in case there are structural performance related problems with your structural authorizations. The period field, this parameter you can use to define the profile according to the validity period of the structure. So you can have the value D, M or Y or F here. So which means that the structure profile, if you specify D here, what it means is that the structural authorization is extended to include only the structure valid on the current date, and the current date is determined by the system date. So if you specify D there, so whatever structural objects are valid on that particular day, structural authorization is going to check for only those objects. So if you define a structural authorization with a D for a manager, the manager is authorized to access data on all persons who are currently in his or her group. So which means he or she cannot access data of their previous employees who were reporting to them in the past, or the employees who are going to report in the future. Now, if you specify M, that would be for the current month, so it doesn't go by the date, and Y is for the particular year. If you say P, it will be past, all the employees who have reported to the manager in the past, and if you specify F, it would be all the employees who are going to be reporting to the manager in the future. And that could be new hires who are yet to be onboarded. So you can specify D here if you want, or you can just leave it blank. It doesn't matter. So if you don't make any entry, there is no restriction by validity period of the structures. So in which case, the manager is authorized to access data on former and future employees in addition to the current employees. The function module, when you define a structural authorization, you can specify a function module which dynamically determines a root object during runtime. So if you decide to use the function module, you don't have to specify the object ID. So let's say you can go and SAP delivers two function modules, RH get manager underscore assignment and RH underscore get underscore org underscore assignment. Now, you can use one of these two function modules, or you could create your own function module depending on your scenario and specify that function module here. So dynamically capture the object ID of the manager at runtime. Now in this area, in the area in which you have specified the organization assignment to be determined dynamically, like I said, you don't make an entry in the object ID field. But you have to make sure that the plan version and the object type are entered. So the function module is not going to work if you don't specify the object type. So object type and the plan version are important for the function module to get the object ID of the user at runtime. And when you use the function module, you can assign the same structural profile to multiple managers, and the system will take care of getting their right object ID. Now SAP delivers two function modules. One is RH-GET-MANAGER assignment. Now this function module determines the root object of the organizational unit to which the user is assigned by A012 relationship. So if you take a look at this Nancy Grant for this position in PO13, you will see that for that position E012 relationship would have been defined. So select the relationship and if you go to the next screen, so she is the holder and she manages this position, and this is the org unit for that position. So A012 relationship has to be defined for the manager in order to use this function module. Now whenever you see a cap against a user ID, that means that user is a chief or is a manager. So this function module works on the basis of a key date and can determine only the organization units assigned to the user as a manager on the key date or within the specified period. Now SAP also gives another function module which is RH-GET _org assignment. Now this function module determines the organizational unit assigned to the user organizationally as the root object. So in our demo, we'll be using, let's use the HR-GET-MANAGER. And after you have defined the structure profile with all the evaluation path and the object ID, if you are not using function module. Now, using the function module is the preferred way to implement structure authorization, because if you end up using the object ID method for every manager in the org structure in your organization, you will have to create an entry in this table. So if you'll have say 100 managers, so you have say 10, 20, 30 ZHR manager entries 100 times, and for every manager you'll have a different org ID. So which could be a maintenance nightmare for you as a security administrator. So the function module, the advantage is that you can use the same structural profile for all managers, and the system using this function module will dynamically pick up the org unit of the manager at runtime. Lastly, I've saved the icon. Let's go back, and lastly let us see this one. What does this icon do? Now this icon, when you click on it, it gives you the information or returns the objects contained in the structure authorization. Now right now it doesn't do anything because we are using the function module, but if you go and let's go and assign, and let's go and remove this thing. If you click on this system will return the number of objects contained in the structure authorization, and it will list all those objects. So for example, if this is the starting node and these are the persons within that object. So let's go and take a look at that 492. So if you take a look at this, let's make it simpler, and let's go back. And let's click on staff assignments. If you look at the persons, okay, now the reason you're not seeing in this list, okay, you're not seeing the position is because remember in the structural, when you defined the evaluation path, we said skip the positions. So that's why even though the positions are red because the holders, the person is associated with the position, the system reads the position. But because this checkbox is checked, the skip checkbox is checked in the evaluation path, the system does not display the position IDs here. So if I, let's say, remove this, and go back to, and now this time let's click on this, the system now returns the positions also. So in an evaluation path, if you want to read a particular object but not display the information, you can select this skip box. So anyway, so when you click on that eye icon, the system returns, gives you the number of objects contained in the structure profile, and it will list all those objects. And the program behind this is RHAUTH01. So even if you execute that program RHAUTH01 directly, you can get this information. So if you do it now, it will not going to return, it will not display the positions now. So this is how you create a structure profile. Now in our structure profile, we can either specify the object ID directly or specify a function module to capture the start object ID dynamically at runtime. And using the function module should be your preferred way of implementing structural authorizations.